Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel! Imagine growing up as a prince, heir to the most powerful empire on earth. You have a brother you love, a future you're certain of. That was Moses' life. He and Ramesses were more than brothers. They were two halves of a single destiny, destined to rule Egypt together. But destiny has a way of rewriting itself. Moses began to have dreams, whispers of a past he didn't know. He saw burning deserts, heard the cries of suffering children, and a voice that called his name in the dark. One fateful night, the whispers became a roar. He discovered the truth. He wasn't a prince of Egypt. He was a Hebrew, a child of the very people his father, the Pharaoh, had enslaved. His entire world shattered. Ramesses, desperate to keep his brother, begged him to stay. "I will make this truth disappear," he promised. "We are brothers. That is the only truth that matters." But for Moses, it wasn't enough. The cries of his people were now a constant torment. He couldn't ignore them, so he did the only thing he could. He ran. He fled into the unforgiving desert, leaving behind his home, his title, and a furious, heartbroken brother. Lost in near death in the vast wilderness, Moses was found by a tribe of desert nomads. For the first time, he found a different kind of life. He found peace in simplicity, he found love, and he found a purpose beyond golden palaces. He built a new life, believing his past was buried beneath the sands. But the voice from his dreams hadn't forgotten him. One night, he was drawn to a mountain that pulsed with an eerie, divine light. There, in the heart of a bush that burned but was not consumed, a voice spoke to him from the flames. It was the voice of a god. "I have seen the suffering of my people," it declared. "And you, Moses, you will be their deliverer." Terrified, but undeniably chosen, Moses returned to the Egypt he had abandoned. Things had changed. Ramesses was now Pharaoh, his heart hardened by power and the sting of betrayal. The reunion of brothers was not one of warmth, but of fire and ice. It was a confrontation. Moses, now a shepherd with a divine command, stood before the mighty Pharaoh and made his demand. "Let my people go." Ramesses, seeing not his brother, but a challenge to his authority, refused. "I will not be commanded," he roared, "not by you, and not by your God." And so, the battle began. Not of swords, but of wills. Not of armies, but of gods. Egypt began to tremble. A series of terrifying plagues descended upon the land, each more devastating than the last. The Nile, the lifeblood of the empire, turned to blood. Storms of fire and hail rained from the sky. A suffocating darkness swallowed the sun, plunging the kingdom into an unnatural night. With every plague, a piece of Ramesses' pride was chipped away, yet his defiance only grew stronger. He would not yield. For Moses, it was agony. He was an instrument of this destruction, caught between his divine mission and the memory of the brother he still loved, watching him break. Then came the final, most terrible plague. In a single, silent night, a cry of grief echoed from every Egyptian home. Egypt was broken. "Defeated, Ramesses! Let them go." Moses led his people out of bondage and into the vast desert, their first steps toward freedom. But Ramesses' grief quickly turned to vengeful fury. He gathered his army, his chariots thundering across the sand in pursuit. The Hebrews found themselves trapped, the roaring Red Sea before them and the unstoppable Egyptian army behind them. All hope seemed lost. But Moses, standing before the waves, raised his staff. In a moment that defied all logic, the sea itself shattered. The waters pulled back, rising into two colossal, glowing walls, creating a path on the dry seabed. The Hebrews ran, crossing through the impossible corridor. As the last of them reached the other side, Ramesses charged into the passage, his eyes burning with rage. But the sea would not be held forever. With a cataclysmic roar, the walls of water collapsed, swallowing the chariots, the soldiers, and the fury of Egypt in a single, final wave. On the far shore, as the sun began to rise, Moses looked back. He was no longer a prince or even a shepherd. He was a prophet, a leader, holding the stone tablets of law given to him on the holy mountain. His journey and the journey of his people had only just begun. The desert before them held the promise of a new home, but also the certainty of more trials and more miracles to come. This was the divine path. Thanks for watching, and if you like this story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more. Bye.